Welcome to Sin City Beat. We're taking Sin City Beat on the road. Yes, we are here at Thomas & Mack, gearing up for, yes, Vegas Summer League. 20 years we're celebrating. Mike Davis here with Sin City Beat. Let's do this thing. Sin City Beat starts right now.
From Las Vegas, this is Sin City Beat.
All right, hello and welcome to Sin City Beat. I'm Mike Davis. Yes, a very special episode of Sin City Beat as we are here at the Thomas & Mack for Vegas Summer League celebrating 20 years. I got two great guests with me. If you were at Vegas Summer League, these are the two biggest celebrities you could have in the fold.
Come on.
It's the co-founders of Vegas Summer League, Warren LeGarie, Albert Hall. Guys, I mean, you are, this is like seeing Beyonce at the Grammys. This is what it's like having both of you here right now.
You ever heard me sing?
I'm
I don't
sure
think
it's
so.
You don't want to hear me sing.
I'm sure it's beautiful. Listen, 20 years. You guys started this dream such a long time ago to now be reflective as you hit this milestone. What has it been like to see how this city, this energy that's happening here at the Thomas & Mack?
I like to pride myself that I'm a calm guy. I look at things prospectively and want to see the, potential, the downside stuff. I bought in too. This has been unbelievable this year. This has been over the top. We could not be happier. Not only Adam Silver doing his press conference here, which is a first, hanging out with us, owners. Everybody loves stars here. Those are our stars because they sign the checks, and they're here in bundles. Like everybody, it couldn't be happier with what we're doing here. And you know what? The fans have been incredibly loyal this year. We can't thank them enough. We like to believe our price point is a big incentive.
Let's talk about that because, listen, a lot of kids, their dream is to go to an NBA game and see their heroes on the big stage, right? For what? $45, you can come see 8 games, and you're seeing – these are the top draft picks. You're seeing even your favorite superstars are sitting courtside. Cade Cunningham, Jaylen Brown. That price point for families, it's a no-brainer.
It's the best value in sports, I think, hands down now. You see the escalation of prices with a single game, let alone 8 games, an experience, the concourse, all these activations that they can participate in. It's something that we started out wanting to create that NBA experience versus, hey, we're just buying a high-priced ticket and, it didn't really do much. Here, you have the ability to immerse yourself for an 8-hour period, right? I mean, at the end of the day, some people say, hey, I'm just going to bring my kids here. It's cheaper than paying for a babysitter. We hang out. I get to watch hoops.
We're still not charging for air conditioning, right?
No.
So we throw that in.
We put it to the test sometimes. Thank goodness it's cooled down a little bit, which is great. But no, that's always been a mantra of ours is, create an unbelievable value. And over the years, we've had fans come back and collect memorabilia and, pick up some new merchandise every year. So it's all part of the equation.
And it's almost like, to me, it's kind of, I liken it, it's almost like if you see the Rolling Stones in concert, this is like a stripped-down acoustic version. It's a different way to kind of interact with players because you're getting to see these guys so up close. It's a little bit more casual than being at an NBA game. I feel like if I was a little kid, I'd be able to just walk right up and say, hey, Cade, can you sign my ball for me? Like, there's a feeling like that.
By the way,
do it.
That's what happens. It's really right there.
Yeah.
These guys walk through the crowd. They know this is a casual. This is not a real buttoned-up NBA game. This is where your security is telling you don't go there. Security does keep a certain decorum, but for the most part, they realize this is a fun event. Families come because this is a one of a kind. You have access to things you'll never have at a real NBA game. And we don't even ever claim to be a real NBA game. We're an NBA experience.
Yeah.
And we're a genuine experience. All the production values, all the sight lines couldn't be more of an NBA scenario. But we want fans to feel like it's their event as well.
Yeah.
And from a team perspective, if you're an owner or the GM or a coach, like you're seeing your brand in front of all these additional fans, all these kids that are, hey, Wemby's my favorite last year, or they're coming in. I mean, a game last night with the Spurs and New Orleans was a 15-point comeback back and forth. It felt like a playoff game. It was fantastic, and you just see that authenticity of the real fans.
The competition, and I think that's a great way to put it because for NBA junkies like me, it's a way to keep yourself young. I'm kind of trying to scour and see what are the jerseys people are wearing. What are the, like you're seeing those types of things, the activations. It's a cool thing as a 32-year-old. If I was just thinking about what are the young kids feeling, it's feeling it here at Summer League.
I think one of the things that we kept every year hammering, These are the stars of tomorrow, but you get to see them today before all the blow up and everything else. You can be part of that original story. If you, between Cox and Thomas and Mac, there's a wall showing all the people who've had a moment here, from Jeremy Lin's to Stephen Curry, who was, by the way, the third best player on his team that year. It just shows you all the storylines that could be here. But ultimately, last year's All-Star game, everyone in there except for LeBron started here at Summer League.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you forget that element, too, that there's a lot of pressure on these guys, particularly the second-year players. They want to see them make that jump.
Yeah.
The new coaches that are taking the reins as a head coach for the first time. You know, they're finding their rhythm as well. And it takes a little bit of time. They may not have that best performance. Klingon last night had a really good performance.
Against Sar.
Yeah, and it was something to watch. It was really good. But you felt him starting to get more comfortable, right? And that's the beauty of Summer League from a player development standpoint. You see it click, right? And then guys, okay, who's going to take center stage, go for that MVP run, and really make a name for themselves?
Well, we got so much more to discuss here. We're going to be back with Warren LeGarie and Albert Hall coming up after a short break.
You're watching Sin City Beat.
All right, welcome back to Sin City Beat. We are on the road here at Thomas and Mack, celebrating 20 years of Las Vegas Summer League. Here, we're with the co-founders, the two great guys, Warren LeGarie, Albert Hall. Albert, let's start here, the activations. Vegas Summer League, NBA, brings out the inner child in me. I see little kids, they're going up to the Wembanyama, wingspan posters. So many different things going on. NBA 2K25, you got to check that out here. So what's the activations that everybody's talking about?
I mean, right behind us is the Panini autograph stage, so you get the top rookies signing autographs. Our Experience Lounge is something that we created a couple years ago. Developed a deck in the end zone, but it's a floating courtside. Right,
wow.
So we host different parties in there, but you can purchase a ticket in there, sit in a couch and watch the game from a floating courtside seat. Unbelievable community activation that we participate in year round. We have some amazing art exhibits. We're creating new things as we go along the way. You can sign a piece of history.
I saw a Bronny James rug.
Yeah,
I mean, I
that
want to
was
put
really
that
cool.
in my home.
Yeah, we had an artist reach out to us. I said, hey, let's give it a shot, and they exceeded expectation. Really came with 112 rugs. Unbelievable partner this year. But it's really just that element of, hey, keeping fans aware of what's going on, who's supporting us. Nike is a big partner, AT&T, Hennessy, some of these others. But really, it's just one of those areas where we grow every year and fans enjoy it. The Instagram moments, all the neon activation, things like that.
It feels like Disneyland with the NBA mixed up together. It really is a great feeling, but there's so much other good stuff going on surrounding the game, Warren, in terms of just sports business and the classroom element. Tell us a little bit about that.
Just to piggyback what Albert was talking about, one of the early things that we insisted, we push each other this way too, it's not a why event, it's a why not event. So we're always trying to say, well, why don't we try this? So one of the things that we were doing early on was an enrichment program. And that enrichment program where some of the young executives who really didn't have a footing in the league yet were trying to, find their voice, find their sort of their placement. And by bringing them together, they could network with one another for support. We'd bring in speakers like Jerry Colangelo, R.C. Buford.
Jerry West
Jerry
for
West
years.
was there.
Wow. I mean, every year.
So that turned into what's become the sports business classroom. We have one of the top people in the cap area, which is a very, very vital part of what the NBA is about, especially with the kind of numbers. His name is Bobby Marks. He's on ESPN every day.
He's phenomenal.
Well,
he
was
with the Nets.
He's a natural teacher. He does all that, but he comes in here, he connects with kids, they get what he's trying to do, and they're on the front of the chair.
Well,
nobody sits on the back.
It's a beautiful thing because I think, listen, 5'9" Jewish kid from New Jersey, I couldn't probably play for the New York Knicks or the Philadelphia 76ers as much as I wanted to be AI when I was a kid, but to be involved with the sport of basketball, to be associated with the NBA, that's what you really are giving us. You're giving us a chance to feel closer to the game that we really love.
No doubt about it. I mean, every day, you're not sure who you're going to run into, right? And for these kids, I mean, part of what we're doing is giving them reps, right? They want to understand and exercise in the trade deadline. They want to get behind and produce a show or in front of the camera. So we're trying to do that. We bring in guys like Jay Adonde to help with writing, and Howard Beck, who's one of the
journalists,
excellent journalists. even creating their own series of stories in Summer League Daily, the stuff that other people are not covering. Now these kids get an opportunity to break a scoop or an exclusive.
It's such a cool thing. I'm geeking out just because it's almost like being here with Lennon and McCartney. This is my question.
Back to the singing analogy. Not working.
My question is, like, you guys have a telepathy now. I mean, 20 years.
How about the 11 p.m. show at the Orleans? That's more like it.
Listen, but you guys, 20 years, how does it feel to do this together? You started this. You had to make so many no's a yes. David Stern didn't want this to happen. You had to make these things happen together. How does it feel when you look and you're reflective and you see the joy you're bringing to so many people? What does it feel like?
Part of any success, there's a lot of luck involved and a lot of timing. And to be able to find somebody like Albert, which was fortuitous. It was not supposed to happen.
And vice versa.
And all these things come together. The tragedy, when you have that opportunity, you don't make the most of it. We weren't going to let that happen. So we've bonded. We're both basketball groupies. We both love this sport. I can't get enough. If I'm not running this thing, I'm paying to get in, okay? That's how much we care about it. So for us, we always feel, and I learned this from a coach here at UNLV, Tim Gerbich.
Yeah.
How do we each and every day make the game better? Seriously, that's what we do every day. What is it that we can do to improve the game, help people find their niche so they can improve the game? And I think we're religiously committed to that.
And we stay on the cutting edge, right? We don't sit back and rest on our laurels. We're always challenging ourselves. We're competitive people. We love doing that. That's one of the fun things Warren and I do every day we get up. What are we doing today?
Even when we MF one another, we still get it done.
And we're exhausted, and we're at dinner for, entertaining clients or hosting people till late, but we get up to, what are we attacking today? We just attack. And again, someone was like, man, you're almost done. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is beast mode time right now.
This is where you get up.
This is where we just challenge it.
It's how you finish. Nobody cares how you start.
You guys are finishing and doing so much great stuff in our community. We want to thank you for everything you did for Las Vegas, everything you did for the NBA. Listen, if you're here at Vegas Summer League Thomas and back, you want to get a selfie with Cade Cunningham. You want that selfie with Jaylen Brown, but you also got to get selfies with these two guys right here, the co-founders of Vegas Summer League. Thanks for 20 great years of entertainment here, guys. We love it so much.
Looking forward to next year already.
All right, same here. All right, coming up after a short break, we got more here from the Thomas and Mack Sin City Beat is on the road. All right, welcome back to Sin City Beat. We are here on the road at the Thomas and Mack, celebrating 20 years of Las Vegas Summer League. We are joined right now by Gary Washburn, NBA writer, Boston Celtic extraordinaire with the Boston Globe. Thank you so much for joining us, Gary. Let's start here. A lot to talk about when it comes to the Celtics. Yesterday, they were playing Bronny James, big game last night here. But let's first focus on what they accomplished. 18 championships now. They just paid Tatum. They already paid Jaylen Brown. Is this going to be the start of a brand new dynasty for the Celtics in Boston?
Yeah, I think they'd like to think so. They are kind of setting everything up to make runs for multiple years. Not only are Tatum and Brown signed, they just signed Derek White. A few months ago, they re-signed Drew Holiday to a 4-year contract. They have Kristaps Porzingis on for 2 more years. So the core of the team is signed for a while. So if you're a Celtic fan, you got to feel good about the near future because they have really kind of ramped themselves up and prepared themselves to win not only one championship, but make runs at multiple championships.
It's an exciting thing. You got a new book coming out called The Boston Celtics, an illustrated timeline that's coming out in September. Have you ever seen in all your years of covering, I mean, it's fascinating. They just win an NBA championship. Now, Wyc Grousbeck actually putting the team up for sale. Was that a puzzling move for you? What did you think about that when you saw that?
Yeah, it was a shocking move considering they had just won the championship. But then again, you don't know finances behind the scenes. You don't know. I think it's a family issue of kind of, spreading that. The issue is his father is the primary owner of the team, and it sounds like the father wants to start kind of cashing out, splitting things up amongst his children.
Gotcha.
And so that means that the team has to be, their share, which is the majority share, has to be sold. So the question is, who comes and buys that majority share? What happens to the minority owners? Do they come up with a plan to try to buy the rest of the team? It's intriguing because obviously professional sports teams are very expensive. They're they're not a really money-making entity. It's sort of for a hobby. You know, you look at Steve Ballmer and these, Mark Cuban. They love it, but I don't think it's one of those things they're going to make billions on billions. But the worth of the team constantly is valued. So obviously, Whit Grusbeck will make a killing, in a sense, off of the sale in comparison to what he bought for the team in 2003. So it'll be interesting to see who lines up to buy the Boston Celtics, because it's obviously an attractive team to own.
Tell us what you're seeing on the floor when it comes to Summer League and the Celtics right now.
Yeah, they're just literally trying to kind of put together the end of their bench here. You're not going to have a lot of guys on this team in Vegas that are going to play major minutes next year because, as we talked about earlier, they're so deep. So right now, they're trying to set up Shireman to get a role. They're setting up Neemias Queta to get a role. They're trying to see what they have in a guy like Jaden Springer or J.D. Davidson. So they're just trying to figure things out right now with this team. And, okay, who goes on a two-way? Who will be at the end of the bench? Who has a future in Boston? Because I think when you're limited in resources in terms of the Celtics because they've paid so many salaries, so and they're living in that second apron, you can't do much in terms of bringing in new players unless they're on minimum deals. So you have to cultivate and grow a lot of these guys. So that's what Summer League is about here, is getting these guys to the next level.
100%. And, you've seen a lot when it comes to this Celtics team. They, had promising records for the past few seasons, but there was a lot of change from, seeing Ime Udoka go to Stevens going up to the, president box and more of an executive, and then Missoula coming in. Why do you think they were able to actually capture this 18th championship at this season? What was it about this? Because each and every year, the rosters, the way players kind of sync together, it always feels different. What was the X factor? What was it that made this year happen for them to capture that 18th title?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. One, the addition of Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis kind of unlocked something in this team that had not been present over the last few years. They were able, they had to make the difficult decision to trade Marcus Smart, who's the heart and soul of their team, indispensable kind of a player for them on defense especially. But I think what that did is that cleared leadership roles for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown that allowed a total pro to step in terms of Drew Holiday. And then Kristaps Porzingis, bringing him in and moving on from Robert Williams, allowed them to have a center who was difficult to defend. Then you add in a second year from Joe Mazzulla, who now had his own staff, Sam Cassell, Charles Lee, who just recently took the job with the Charlotte Hornets. It was definitely a more comfortable atmosphere. And then the players, having lost to Miami, having lost to Golden State the year before, were motivated to finally get over the top. I think it was experience along with the new additions, along with a coaching staff that was more comfortable.
All right, well, we got Gary Washburn hanging out with us for a little bit longer here from the Boston Globe. We're going to be talking everything about Vegas Summer League going on here. 20 years we're celebrating. That's why we took Sin City Beat on the road. We got more Gary Washburn after a short break. All right, welcome back to Sin City Beat. We are on the road here at the Thomas & Mack, celebrating 20 years of the Las Vegas Summer League. I'm back with Gary Washburn, national NBA writer with the Boston Globe. Gary, great to be back with you. So let's talk about this. Everybody's talking the major storylines of Bronny James. You got to see him play up close against the Boston Celtics. What did you think about his game as everybody's debating the Bronny James situation?
It's a tough situation for him. I feel bad for him because I think he's obviously pressing. He's trying to make an impression. He knows that all these fans out here want to see him do well, but it just doesn't seem like at this point he's up to being an NBA player. I think you can look in Summer League and you can see the guys like the Reed Shepherds or the Cam Whitmores. You can look at the guys and say, okay, that guy's one of the better players on the floor. Like, he's ready to make a contribution to an NBA team. And when you look at Bronny, you just don't see that. He's struggling from the field. He's struggling to find his way, and it's kind of an unfair situation for him. I thought he got thrown into this situation far before he's ready, and we'll see if he can get it together in the last couple of games out here, and then in the weeks before training camp with the Lakers. But I didn't see anything that I thought stood out, to be honest with you. He airballed 2 3-pointers. He passed up some shots because he's not confident in his shot. I didn't see him as a shutdown defender. I thought the Lakers would play him at point guard because that's kind of his projected position, but he wasn't playing point guard. So I think it's a real work in progress, and it could take a while before we see Bronny James contributing, if at all, to an NBA team.
I think we saw with the G League Ignite experiment here in Henderson, 2 guys, Modest Buzelis and Ron Holland. Ron obviously was a guy, a lot of people were projecting him as the #1 pick in last year's NBA draft. He ended up getting drafted 5th for the Detroit Pistons. He went up against Modest and the Chicago Bulls yesterday. Both guys, 17, 18 points. They look aggressive. They look confident. Tell us, what do you think seeing the guys like Scoot Henderson, Jalen Green, these guys who are coming from the Ignite program, playing NBA quality basketball or G League basketball with former veterans, guys who floated around the league, do you think that's helping a lot of these young rookies as they play Summer League and look to contribute to an NBA team?
Well, I think it's just another alternative, to be honest. Would Scoot Henderson or Ron Holland or Jalen Green be better if they had played a year at North Carolina or Duke?
Yeah, what do you think?
That's a tough call because you got college coaching, you have the emphasis, but you have less games. The G League Ignite brought kind of an NBA caliber atmosphere. The training, the road, and all that. So I think it was kind of even. I was disappointed to see the Ignite kind of be dissolved, but I do think it just depends on the mentality of the player, how bad you want to be in the NBA. That's the thing. There's a lot of guys here who are begging, who are working for jobs. They want to be NBA players. And so if you don't have that drive, that want to, you're going to get left out here. You're going to get left in the cold out here, and it's going to show. So I think the G League Ignite was a good idea. I'm like I said before, a little disappointed they didn't complete it. But I do think guys like Jalen Green and Ron Holland set the example for guys who, if they want to work hard enough and be in an NBA atmosphere, they can do it.
All right, well, there is Gary Washburn, one of the greatest basketball minds we got in our country when it comes to journalism. Go check out his book, The Boston Celtics, an illustrated timeline, coming out this fall. Gary, thanks so much for spending some time with us.
Good to be here.
Guys, that's Sin City Beat for now. We're celebrating 20 years of Las Vegas Summer League. We'll check you back next week. I'm Mike Davis. We'll see you next time.